Yes, my people, welcome back to AFTV. Welcome back. We just tuned into AFTV Reacts and we're reacting about something that's top four down the drain. Something that it's going to be a venting session, I think, today, because I definitely need it. First day back after obviously travelling to Newcastle, watching the game, watching us just bottle it as I see in the comments, this top four position. But I'm joined by Turkish. Turkish, how are you, my guy?
Could be better, but it is what it is.
Do you know what? I'm going to take something that Turkish always says to me as well. He always says, like, my life is so calm away from following Arsenal. And I on that journey home, that 6-hour drive back, I had Robbie, I had Julian, I had a few of the camera people in the car. They were asleep. I was driving down the M-Way and I was just like, raw, like, my life's actually, like, God bless and everything, it's actually really good. But you see this club, when I thought everything was going to be fine, I sat up there in the gods and thought, this is not happening. This is not happening. We were speaking about before the game kicked off. Once it's done, we can enjoy our summer. Once we get this win, leave it up to Tottenham. Just relax, kick back. If we got top four, if we got the full switch, relax and enjoy summer. Go to America, be amazing. And then we go and we lose to Tottenham, and then we lose to Newcastle, and never really seemed in the game. I want this show not just to be me venting and giving my opinions and thoughts. I want you guys in the comments to be watching and giving your opinions as well, because there will be a portion of the fan base that say, listen, there's progress. They understand why Arteta got the 3-year extension. Long-term things could be better. They've seen a change in the culture at the club. So there'll be things I know there'll be a certain side agreeing with and being happy with. But I want to get all sides and everyone's thoughts here. I don't want to go over too much that you've already gone over in the Big Six show. We got the Big Six show as well. I know you did a lot of discussing this and everyone had their opinions on Arsenal. So I don't want to overlap on anything, but I do want to get certain thoughts from certain things. I know you've been looking at some comments that we were fed as fans by the media, and then now things have changed from Arteta coming out by saying about resources and whatnot, which we'll get into. But top four down the drain is the topic of today. You can see down in the ticker some of the reasons that, why, whether it's the pressure, whether it was the inexperienced players being burnt out, all these things that we've been hearing, these pickup words, is in our hands. We heard a lot. It's in our hands. I heard everything about being in our hands. Game in hand. It's in our hands. It's in their hands. In our hands. Well, now it's not. And it feels like, unless Norwich beat Tottenham, which me and Turkish clearly don't believe that's going to happen, unless a miracle happens and that happens, and even still, if that happens, the way I'm feeling right now, I don't think we'll beat Everton at home on Sunday. This may be reactionary, may be emotional, but listen, it was a long way up and a long way back after a 2-0 defeat and a really lacklustre performance from the boys on Monday. But Turkish, so that's a big intro. I'm still feeling very drained, but let's just start with anything that you wanted to kind of pick up on first, and I'll kind of give some of my stuff, and then we'll go to comments and see if we can get a full picture of what's been going on.
That Everton game, I've heard people discussing it, but I just don't care.
Don't care?
Nah, because we've blown it already. The likelihood of Norwich beating Tottenham is so slim, and the fact that all they need is a draw now. Forget Sunday, forget Sunday. It's time to ask questions about how we came to this point. And now on one hand, people can say, no one expected us to be in the top four come end of the season. In fact, I think Arteta said something about it, if I can find it. He basically said, here it is, if somebody has created an expectation this year that no one in this room probably would talk about at the start of the season, it's those players. What he's saying there is essentially, for me, an excuse. Yes, I didn't think we'd even be in top 6 at the start of the season after the business we'd done and the business our competition around us did. But come January the 1st, when we're in top 4 and you look at the turmoil that Spurs and Man United were in at the time and pretty much are still in now until summer, that they can't fix much. It was about working with the resources that you have. Mm-hmm. Lo and behold, the only team out of the 3 to do business in January is the one that gets it over the line. The team that, showed a bit more ambition than the rest, including us.
Yeah,
we got over the line. So yes, at the start of the season, the expectations for Arsenal Football Club should be minimum top 4. Now the reality is what Arteta meant by at the start of the season. Did anyone really expect us to be here? All right, the reality is no, not many of us did. But the expectation should always be that at the bare minimum. It is not success to get into top 4. And Arteta, before that Newcastle game, said top 4 is the aim. It was the first time all season that I've heard someone from this club or this company come out and actually define what would be success come the end of the season. And Arteta said it, and credit to him for saying it, because someone needed to say it.
Yeah.
But then one 90-minute game later, that aim is in the mud. But he gets a new contract at a point where it looked like top four was thrown away already. He got offered that contract off the back of those 3 losses.
Yeah.
And I know, a lot of people are against it, including me. It just doesn't seem to make sense. And yes, if we got over the line in top 4, people might look at that contract and say it's because we gave him the confidence to get over the line. It's because we gave that solid backing with a new contract, knowing that he'll have the summer, he'll have next season. So, the players can, fully get back. It didn't work.
Were you angry at the 3-year extension at the time when it was, because me and Robbie did a show, we did the exact same show we're doing right now. We're reacting to his 3-year extension, and I remember, I said, yes, I think what I've seen from Arteta, this is at the time, this was before the Tottenham game, okay, I think it's the perfect time for them to release it. Granted though, he actually got offered the contract after the 3 losses. Now, the PR team, very good at Arsenal, they obviously waited and very good. They're not very good, but they were good by waiting.
They must be good, because till today we're still divided on what is happening at this club. So the PR at this club, it must be good, because I'm still debating and arguing with fans about the most simplistic things. Like, it's that we don't learn from the past, from the past manipulation. We have, a lot of fans haven't learned. We're going to talk about January, and finally, in my honest opinion, we have some clarity on January. I've been banging on since January that we wasn't really in for Vlahovic. It was a smokescreen. I've been banging on that if we was in for Vlahovic and we had 70 million to spare, and we also needed midfield reinforcements with the rumoured Arthur Melo loan and whatever else, why wouldn't you shift that 70, not to plan B, not to panic by a striker? Why don't you shift it to your plan A midfielder? Apparently we was in for Bruno Guimaraes. No, we wasn't. January was all a smokescreen, and Arteta's recent comments clarify that. But at the end of the day, Arteta, the first week of February, comes out and says it was a fantastic window. So it's all good and well clarifying it now, Mikel. Something that I knew already, knowing this owner and this club. But you came out and backed it in February. You came out and said it was fantastic. To use that word, and then a few months later say we did all we can do with what we was allowed to. Appreciate the honesty, but you've already succumbed to protecting what is a poisonous ownership, what is a poisonous boardroom. Okay, before we get into, let's go to comments in a sec. The comments that he made in a second. But let me just give everyone. We're going to give everyone the full picture. So obviously in January, which. Me, so before we get what everyone else thinks as well, and the comments that Turkish found that Arteta's quotes. So I said after January, I said, listen, everything's well and good. When we was winning, I said all good, but I think January will be the downfall for getting rid of Aubameyang and not replacing him. Getting rid of Aubameyang, I think, was the right decision in the end. I think for both parties at the time, was doing well. He wasn't scoring anyway. I think it made sense. I know there'll be people against that, but for me, it really did. But not replacing him was the biggest mistake, or even strengthening in January. That was. Especially when you're in that top 4 conversation, you think to secure that, like the other clubs that was mentioned before, like Tottenham did. Why do we not go and strengthen? But that, like you said, the club and the board seem to back that. Arteta's words were, "We have talent in the side. We have enough to get over the line." He also said, this question about the goals, where the goals come from. He said we have 2 goal-scoring strikers in Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette. Those are his quotes as well. So he really doubled down on this decision. Of not strengthening in January. Whether that was him or if it was the board above, which I believe the comments kind of said that he didn't have the resources, which we'll get to, that is still the wrong decision from Arsenal Football Club and from Mikel Arteta, clearly. And I believe that is the main reason why we didn't get over the line and securing top 4. That is my main reason. There's other things that people are going to speak about, like I said before, the pressure, the inexperienced team and whatnot, maybe players being overplayed, burnt out, injuries. But all them reasons that you've just listed out, they all go back to January, and those
can be avoided.
Yeah, those risks could have been avoided. Instead, they wasn't avoided, and they turned to big issues. It's not great risk management. Athletic have literally just come out with an article today, and Athletic, listen, I've said about them before, they're very much on the club side. The article's interesting to me because the article kind of alludes to Mikel Arteta, gambling, Mikel Arteta taking these risks. Now,
which we have credited them for when they've worked, but in
my honest opinion, if you're a football club that's been in the turmoil we've been in and the decline we've been in, then surely you don't allow your inexperienced manager to make that final decision. Surely there should be people above that have learned from the past and said, you know what, now might be the time to go in and get that extra player or two to get us over the line. How often have Arsenal taken risks in the way that us fans would want the opposite. The risk they took was not to bring in someone. The risk they took was, to clear the wage bill. The risk we want the club to take is maybe pay over the odds for a player in January, and then if we still don't make top 4, I can't look back and say, well, you didn't do your job in January.
Yeah.
Why is it that any time a transfer window's come in or a season's coming to end, why is it that I can always look back at something from recent times, forget the past 5-10 years for a second, why can I always look back 6-12 months and find reasons why I don't believe this club has changed? It's every season it's the same. Right now we're talking about January. In January, that we could have been talking about the summer, and yes, in the summer, 150 million spent on 6 players. We spent the most in Europe and whatever else. But the reality is, we spent it on 6 players. Other teams are spending 130 million on 2-3 players. At the end of the day, we needed reinforcements in January. Mikel Arteta come out and said we need to maximise every window. So not to have a January like we did. Why did anyone need Mikel Arteta to just come out today and basically allude to the fact that he didn't have the resources available to him in January? Why did we need for that to happen? Why can't we look at Kroenke's history, look at how this club has been run, and off the back of Mikel saying we need to maximise every window, we should know why we left the January window weak, or we should know why we left the January window without reinforcements. Because essentially we've got a manager who is a yes man to the ownership, who is going to protect them, because that, calling it fantastic is protecting them. Like I said, coming out now to say you done all we could do with what was allowed. Thank you, Mikel. But in February, at a time when you could have, you could have stirred the pot a bit more. Look at Conte in February. Conte turned around. Was it February? He flipped at Tottenham. He turned around and flipped and said, something's got to change here. Something's got to change.
Yeah.
And it was at a time. Was it February he flipped? I think it was February.
I can't remember exactly when he flipped.
It might have been near the end of January.
He said he was going to, obviously, he doesn't know if he's the right man there for this. But yeah, I don't know, was it? Yeah.
But he's still in a job, he's still safe.
But now the whole thing's turned around. Since he's flipped, what was it? I think, what did they lose? It was 1 or 2 games, I think. And they went on a mad run after that.
Yeah.
Well, let's do some. Have you got the exact quotes there? Or have you
the Athletic.
Yeah,
let me just read through the Athletic.
Just so they get the exact what Mikel Arteta said, and we can kind of go back to that and punch in on that.
So there's no quotes here about what he said. The quotes are in the Arsenal interview on Arsenal.com. So I'll get into that in a bit. But the Athletic kind of delved into the title of the Athletic story is Arsenal and the top 4 string of gambles across the team look to have backfired. Here it says Mikel Arteta and the Arsenal hierarchy made a series of critical calls that led directly to this point. Arsenal pursued a dominating striker in January, most notably by courting Vlahovic. Now this is where I know Athletic are in bed with the club, because for the Athletic to say we was in for Vlahovic and then Arteta to tell us that we done what we was allowed to do, which was nothing. Yeah, that means we didn't have 70 million for Vlahovic. We didn't. Because if we did, then what Mikel's saying today would be a lie. Because you were allowed to spend 70 mil. But if I look back at this ownership and I say, who's lying here? Is it Mikel? Is it the Athletic? Is it? Of course it's a lie. We went in for him. They go on to say, they talk about the Oba situation. Arteta essentially gambled on a whole bunch of factors. He needed key personnel to stay fit in essential positions, particularly at fullback and anchor in midfield. That didn't happen. He needed his attacking players to score consistently. Given the makeup of the squad, they couldn't. The scale of over-reliance on backup players during the run-in has been too much to cope with. Every club has had to make do with deputies filling in here and there, and the challenge to step up can sometimes be the making of a player. But the drop-off in quality at fullback position is obvious. And a look at the number of games played in that position outlined just how damaging that has been. And before I look at the numbers of games, wasn't this a similar problem in the Villarreal game? Wasn't it a similar problem as to why we didn't get over the line in terms of achieving Champions League football last season? Of course it was. Tierney's played 22 Premier League games. Tomiyasu's played 21. Tavares, 21. Cedric, 20. Evenly spread out the 4 fullbacks we have. Yeah. That shows we've got a problem. Unless your backups are close in quality.
That's the season, right, as well. So if with no Europe, that's how much is spread out. Just take that in as well, because obviously next season we're going to have Europe. And there's a section, it's not in the ticker now, but there's a section I want to do in the show, obviously, the pending excuses that are going to come as well, which we can go through. Obviously, we won't be able to sign big players now because we haven't got Champions League football. There's going to be a load coming through, so it'd be nice to clear through some of them as well. But anyway.
And then they go into midfield and said the minutes played by Sambi, Lokonga and El Nene together are not far off the total managed by Thomas Partey. Yeah. Was Partey... was his injuries a problem last season?
No,
yes,
they were. Sorry, I have those numbers. So I mentioned this in a live with James. In 2 seasons, Partey's been out for 30 games through injury. So it's basically almost a full season of through injury. And Tierney again has missed 47 games over 3 seasons through injury. So yeah, all of these should be signs that we all saw this. We saw this in January. I said you had to. I was so shocked that we didn't strengthen. We all saw this. So. I hear what you're saying. A lot of what you just read there from the Athletic is stuff that, many fans, if you've been tuned in very much to Arsenal, you would have known that was kind of the biggest downfall there. We're not strengthening. But it was interesting to him to say that he didn't have the resources of Mikel Arteta. But
yeah, so let me quote him directly for that one so you can have a say on that, because this is from the interview. Was it post-match interview? He was asked about regrets on not buying players in January, and I quote Arteta, "We have done what we can and with what we were allowed to do. What we could do and the resources we had from the start of the season." That indicates to me that the 150 million spent in the summer was it. That indicates to me what we were allowed to do. Surely if we was allowed to buy Vlahovic for 70 mil, you're allowed to use that money elsewhere, maybe do 40 on Bruno Guimaraes, or somewhere else. Surely this tells us Arsenal fans that January was all a smokescreen. It was all to take our attention away from the fact that we wasn't going to bring in anyone special. Yes, we might have got Melo on loan over the line or just someone in on loan, but we didn't.
We should have.
Tottenham did.
Yeah, we should have.
When you look at January window and you look at, all right, Juventus got Vlahovic, but off the back of that, Tottenham got Bentancur, Kulusevski, At the end of the day, we didn't make it work for us. Tottenham made it work for them, and here they are going into the Champions League football next season, and a big one, because Conte is by far the greatest manager they've had, in terms of success, in terms of demanding, in terms of his name, his stature as a manager. Tottenham are lucky to have Conte. And not only are they lucky to have Conte, they've managed to get Champions League football this season as well. Right. Off the back of keeping Kane last season where the champions wanted him. Tottenham, that's what makes me sick as well. Tottenham are showing more ambition than us, and it just seems to be fine with a lot of people. How can it be fine, Cecil?
That's the thing. That's also another part of the conversation I want to go into as well as next season and looking forward now with this Arsenal side. Obviously, we'll be in. It's not confirmed yet, but it's looking like it's going to happen. We're going to be in Europa League. They're going to be in Champions League, and the progression of Tottenham and us falling behind. Here's the thing. Next season, do you really think now we're going to be back into where we first predicted at the start of this season, out of the top 6, maybe 8th, 9th, or do you? Because obviously Ten Hag will be coming to United. Tottenham obviously going to be have another year, a full year of Conte. I know you spoke about it in the Big 6. There'll be obviously City and Liverpool doing their thing. Chelsea should have their new ownership as well. Do you feel like we are really going to be, right at the bottom now, just dropping? Because obviously Newcastle's all the strengthening. There'll be other teams strengthening, but we did kind of all think this at the start of this season, or do you think this is a one-off season where this was for us to capitalise on and we failed again? I think many times Arsenal have failed to capitalise on other teams' misfortunes in a few seasons. I don't think this is the only one, but this one feels like one of the biggest.
It is one of the biggest.
The Leicester year when Leicester won it, that one felt like that should have been our year.
But funnily enough, I believe I read something that the year Leicester won the league. Tottenham's average age of the squad that finished third that season was younger than the average age of our squad this season, and we're giving a lot of praise for our young squad, getting this far. But when you look at history, we've seen younger sides achieve more, but we'd still call them bottle jobs. Because that season, we said they bottled second. Because you want to gloss over the pain, and that's what it is with us. Arsenal fans have been in pain for a long time. And any little chance of glossing over it, they will try.
Yeah,
we will try. Yeah,
we can't gloss over this one. There will be.
There will be happen.
Well, yeah, there'll be excuse. We're gonna go look at potential excuses as well. I don't know if you take some super chats, and we'll go over. We'll do that as well.
Nick says bored empty promises, no courage from Arteta. Young players, bright talent, gave us hope. We all deep down knew it wasn't there. If it was wanted bad enough, they would have injected big signings in January. Dirty Nick, exactly my thoughts. January was the time. There was a light at the end of the tunnel. And in all honesty, the money you spent, you would have recouped it if you made Champions League football. And that to me tells me that risk, that potential risk, wasn't that great a risk to take when you know that you could potentially make that back and more.
By the smallest of margins. A one signing, maybe a couple loan deals.
Because the thing is, they're going to have to take a bigger risk this summer, because it's not like there's the light at the end of the tunnel this summer.
It sounds like I hear you say this. It just seems like we're going round and round. Summer, big few signings, not strengthening in January. Next summer, we'll go again. I can't keep dealing with this, man.
Joe says, good teams have to reinforce in transfer windows. And I quote our manager, Mikel, January the 8th, we need to maximise every window. I quote these people, Edu, Arteta, Kroenke, we need to maximise every window. And we left the window weaker, thinner.
Champions do it. That should be the blueprint. Champions do it. They'll win the league, or they win Champions League, and they still want to strengthen. Like it's the most obvious thing. If you're succeeding, you still strengthen. When things are going wrong, you still got to strengthen. Things move. This Premier League is moving at an extreme rate, and it's getting better and better and better and better. The quality is getting higher and higher and higher. And like I asked you before, I do worry that we're gonna drop. Yes, this is progression. If you look at last season, but every other team are progressing as well, and we can fall further and further. It's really annoying that those quotes, I'm going to be honest, it is quite annoying, those quotes from Mikel Arteta about the resources and whatnot and doing what he could do. Because I remember arguing with you saying it was his decision to not strengthen in January. I literally put it all on him, because what it was fed to me as a fan, it seemed like the Kroenkes have literally just put all their faith in Arteta. Whatever he decides, we're going with. And that's literally how it felt. This Project Youth, all of this stuff, it all seemed it was coming from Mikel Arteta, and the way Josh Kroenke was talking in the interview in America, it was like he's a talented coach. Like we trust in Mikel Arteta. He's doing the right thing. He's doing a good job. This is when things were going well. So I thought it was all on him. That's why I'm questioning him now, and I think a lot of these decisions and where we're finishing up is on him. As much as the players may have bottled it in the Newcastle game, I think a lot of it is on him. But yeah, we'll keep going into it. Go on.
Benny here says, my expectation in the summer, top 6, but January it became top 4. I'm not angry, but very disappointed. What would it take for you to be excited for next year? Listen, the transfer window is where excitement is built. That's where excitement is built. It's just that how often have Arsenal fans left the transfer window excited? How often has that happened in not just 2 years, in 10, 15 years? How often have we started a season with our chest out thinking we can do something this season? By something, I don't mean making top 4.
Yeah.
That's not something. That's the bare minimum. I started this show saying that should be the bare minimum expectation for Arsenal 100%. Football Club. So at the end of the day, I just think, what you said, the roundabout. This summer was key, in my opinion, for this whole process stuff that they're trying to feed the fans.
Yeah.
In the end, we've slipped up, and there's going to be more excuses. And I think that's what the club like.
They do.
I question now whether Kroenke actually wants to make Champions League, when at this moment in time, the wage bill's cleared, the pressure seems to be off. They've got their man there, front of the stage, Mikel Arteta. A lot of fans are behind him. As an owner, they probably think, oh, it's going all right.
Yeah,
let's slowly. Yeah. You see Liverpool.
Go on.
You see Liverpool in January, yeah? Liverpool in January were what, 11 points off City?
Yeah.
Something like 10, 11 points. If Kroenke's owned Liverpool, Diaz would not have come through the door.
Correct.
Reason being, because they would have looked there and said, well, 10, 11 points off, we're safe in second. I don't think we need to spend that money because, we're going to be where we're going to be.
Yeah.
But no, they went in and brought someone in over the line and nearly, obviously cut the gap. They cut the gap to City, but they nearly got over the line with a quadruple.
Yeah.
And thank God they didn't, but they nearly got over the line with a quadruple. The Kroenkes are not like that. For once, we had a glimmer of hope in January. Well, for once in a good few years. And they didn't.
But here's the thing, Turkish. I'm trying to think about, right, as a business, not even as a club, because obviously that's what we want to see, but as a businessman, you'd think, if we get Champions League football, if we did invest in January, like you said, it's a small cost really to get over the line for January. That brings more money for being in Champions League. You bring more. I'm going to be honest, I spoke to a lot of fans that have kind of switched off from Arsenal through the down period of, being 8th and being out of Europe. that would have brought loads of fans back. People would start to believe again, loads more. I think Mikel Arteta done a really good job as well, by the way, of getting fans back on side. And I think, I spoke about it to you off camera, that has saved him a lot as well. When it comes to the fact that around the time the Kroenke was getting the most heat, the Super League time and whatnot, he has now kind of galvanised the fans, got them behind, especially as I've been going to all the games. It feels like everyone is behind him, regardless. Even at that Newcastle game, before obviously it was 2-0, before the end of the game, people were singing we got Super Mikel Arteta, screaming it. They seem like the fans are really in line with what he's trying to do. So that's a big thing for the Kroenkes. They really want to bridge that gap. So I think that's a big plus for him, and it's probably why they offered him this contract. After the 3 losses, let's get that straight. After the 3 losses, Mikel Arteta got offered that contract. I think that's a big plus for him, but it is worrying. I just don't see as a business mind why you don't think. I don't think there's anyone that actually has the knowledge to do that. Like you said, I don't think there's anyone that's there to make these big decisions of, yo, Mikel Arteta, you're going to need to strengthen in January. Or Kroenke's just said, if the Kroenke's even said, we haven't got the money to do it, we haven't got the resources, he should be the one saying, no, like, I need this for this. But he's probably not that guy to do that. Like you said, he's a yes man.
Now, you see, the reason I brought up the Athletic article, is because I'm going to say it again. For me, Athletic are in the club's back pocket.
Right.
You know, Arsenal, back pocket, Athletic. You know, they can call upon it when they want. Remember that Athletic done the whole Arteta, you know, he sleeps with diagrams, and throughout the last couple of years, they've been, you know, feeding PR here and there, yeah? Today's one, people that oppose my views might say, oh, look, they've laid it out on Mikel Arteta. They said Mikel Arteta took the gambles, they took the risk. How can the Athletic be in the club's back pocket? The reason why is, look at Wenger. You know, Wenger was adored by fans, loved by fans, and he'd take the brunt of everything. Even ticket prices was down to, you know, Wenger was getting questioned about that. It had nothing to do with Wenger, but what he did was protect them.
Yeah.
So what's happening now with the Athletic releasing Mikel Arteta is he took the gambles, he took the risks. It's because the club know Mikel, for some reason, is adored by a lot of fans. For some reason, a lot of fans seem to be fully behind him, like they was behind Wenger at points, But Wenger had something to get behind. Wenger's a legend at this club.
He is. He
with Mikel,
he hasn't got that yet.
They can chuck this, you know, article in there and say Mikel took the risk and gamble, and you'll have a lot of fans reading it and being like, yeah, young manager, he really tried, you know, credit to him, you know, he really... But if that name was changed to Kroenke and it said Kroenke took the gamble, Kroenke took the risk, no Arsenal fan would be reading that and being like, fair enough. They'd be reading that again. These poisonous owners again. So the owners have got what they want. They've got a shield again.
It feels like that, because even for me, I'm not even looking at I know the owners are the main problem, but I don't want to keep banging on every show about, I wouldn't want to come and keep banging on owner. That's because of, now I feel like Arteta is the shield, because I look at Arteta for a lot of these big decisions, and I guess that's me being swayed as well, but it's only right to be from what I've been fed from the club at the moment. But it's frustrating, and it's not going to get any better from the way, you know, we're being fed and what's been going on. What's the Mr. Super Chat there? Mark says,
a proper owner would go out and buy Nunes, Tchouameni, Nkunku, etc. But I assume we will buy players that won't get in the 11 straight away, and it might be a risk. So the excuses are already made. Let's do that.
We'll do that after. Let's do that last Super Chat, and we'll go into excuses that are pending now.
Young Gunner says, a lot of fans let our wins against Chelsea, United and West Ham distract them from how inconsistent we've been all season, and somehow now 5th is acceptable. January has come back to bite us. It has. It really has. Let me just check if I've missed any more before let's get into it.
Oh, cool. Right, let's go into the potential excuses now that are going to come from not getting top 4 and not progressing as a company, as a football club here at Arsenal. So we'll start with obviously not getting Europe, so not getting Champions League, is the reason why, you know, we all expected 6. I was on the way up to Newcastle. Robbie was like, we need 6 signings. Minimum 5, 6. We need to spend 200 million minimum. Now the excuse will be, well, we haven't got Champions League football. So these big names that you wanted and you expected to come, you know, maybe like the Gabriel Jesus's, the Tielemans. For me, they're not even big, massive names, but those are players that we're targeted with. They might, if we don't get them, the excuse will be, it's because we didn't make it into Champions League. I think that'll be one of the excuses. Arteta being an inexperienced manager, you brought up earlier, that is another one that, you know, him not being in these sort of positions before, can lead to, you know, us not making top 4. That might be some excuse that can fly out. What else? We've got a young side not being able to handle the pressure. But you said something really good. This is pressure. How is this? We're fighting for a top 4 spot. How is this pressure? Like, we want to be in a Champions League next season challenging. We want to be up there with Liverpool and Man City in the Premier League. We want to get to cup finals and win them. Pressure is an excuse for youngsters. How? for a fourth spot. Mad.
Playing for Arsenal is pressure, or it should be pressure. Well, it is
Oh,
pressure.
it is pressure. No, that is pressure as well. That is pressure.
You know, that pressure should already be there going into the season. You should feel pressure to make top 4 minimum because, like I said, Arsenal Football Club, the minimum expectation should be top 4. So that pressure doesn't necessarily change throughout the season. Yes, when you come to the end of the season, 2 games to go and it's a young side, again, that whole young side thing is overblown. Yes, it's a young side, but it's not an average age of 20, 21. It's an average age of what, 24?
Yep.
You know, that's mid-20s going into their primes. So, you know, for me, I think it's just overblown. And yeah, it's something, again, that I look at January, and it's something that January could have potentially fixed or plugged and got us over the line. But it didn't. Whether it's young players burning out. And by burning out, I don't mean, you know, partly physically, but we haven't had European football and 1 game a week, but mentally.
They on Newcastle, they were not in it. They were knackered. Saka especially. I think a lot of players were playing through injury from what I could just see from them. So yeah, I think it's physically and mentally as well.
And whenever Arsenal ever, the first excuse that you said, or the first possible excuse is that, you know, we don't have Europa League football, we can't go for the best players. When we had Champions League football, did Arsenal go for the best players? When have Arsenal gone for the best players in the world? Now, I'm not asking for that because even I, as a fan that watched Invincibles, that watched the great Arsenal sides, we didn't go for the best players in the world. So I'm not here saying Mbappe, Haaland, Neymar, Messi, these are the players we should be going after. What I'm saying is it can be done in other ways.
Right.
Ambition can be shown in other ways. Liverpool, aside from Thiago signing, where Thiago is definitely one of the top 3 midfielders in the world at the time, but he came in, you know, nice fee, near the end of his contract. What players at the top of their, you know, game in world football have Liverpool? They haven't. Chelsea, similar. They went for the Werners, they went for the Havertz, they went for the wrist, and it hasn't paid off for them.
Yeah, that's why they tried to go for the big. They went for the big Romelu Lukaku.
At the same time, I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear excuses because, you know, the chance was there in January for you to eliminate the excuses in the summer, and you could have done things in January that resulted in us still finishing out of the top 4, but at least then I wouldn't look back at you guys again. These guys should be, you know, trying their hardest to not give people like me a reason to look at them. After what they've done to this club, they should be trying their hardest to not give fans like me a reason to look at them. But they're not, because they don't care again. Because they've swayed enough fans now with whole Mikel Arteta, the process and all of that they've got enough support that they know they can get over the line this summer again and on to next season. When the season starts, it is what it is.
How far behind are we? If we look at next season a little bit, people in the comments as well, like, are you really worried about all these other clubs progress? Like I asked you earlier, like, how far do you think we could potentially fall? I know we're looking ahead, but how far do you think we potentially fall now with every other team kind of showing more ambition, so we say?
I think we've fallen as much as I can realistically see us fall, which is 8th and mid-table.
Okay, so you think next season that we probably won't fall lower than 8th?
Yeah, but that's...
even with midweek, because remember that European football was always one of Mikel Arteta's excuses. The players are burnt out travelling on a Thursday, playing on a Sunday. So with that, I know we don't know who's going to come in the summer, but with that does worry me with all the other things that, you know, the other clubs are doing.
What's the question?
How far
are we off?
Yeah, we can leave Man City and Liverpool because
it's impossible to say. It's impossible to say because there isn't, you know, Pep and Klopp are special.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can eliminate them.
There isn't a manager out there that, in my opinion, comes in and I know we're headed into that direction.
Right.
Conte last season is one just below the Peps and Klopps. I look at Simeone at Atletico and I put him up there. But aside from these managers, I don't see a manager out there that I know comes in and changes it around. Therefore, I can't put a time frame on it.
Okay.
The only, you know, if the owners decide to change it around, then you can put a time frame on it because the owners can do things to speed up a process. They can put things in place that increases revenue. They can manipulate the market. Our owners don't. In fact, let's get on to one. People probably, you know, a lot of people probably don't know this, yeah. But at this moment in time, it hasn't been confirmed yet, I believe. But the Kroenkes are on the verge of selling the Emirates Stadium to KSE. So right now, the Emirates Stadium is Arsenal's, right? We play, we own it, yeah? Soon, KSE will own the Arsenal Stadium. We will rent the stadium off them. and they'll also be able to use the stadium for NFL, concert, boxing, UFC, whatever they want to use it for. So soon, Emirates Stadium will be owned by KSC.
Wow.
Yeah, and that debt they paid off 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. Remember, they're changing their ways. They just paid off the stadium. They're gonna make money off the back of it. The long game. These men ain't here to give us what we want. They ain't here to give us a club that challenge, compete. They're here to try and manipulate the money that's in football. And unfortunately, they got hold of us. They got hold of us to the point where it's 100%. They own 100%. So they can do what they want. You think anyone can question them selling the Emirates to themselves?
So is that what they're doing? Yeah. So they're going out and they're going to rent. So basically, it's basically what Tottenham have done with their stadium as well. They've pretty much done. They rent out and to big sporting events as well. And I said when we went there, I said it feels so Americanized, the stadium. It's a joke, but that's a worry in itself. That's a worry.
It tells you what it is with these owners. It tells you what it is, mate. Because at a time when we can't afford any more money going out for no reason, these owners are about to take our stadium off us and force us to pay rent for it.
That's mad.
In essence, pay back what you paid off. These men don't do nothing for us, for the club. They don't do nothing in terms of risk taking. It's all money, 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 money. If I invest this much money, will I get triple back? No, I ain't investing it then. And in football, there's no guarantees. No one can say if you invest 100 million Kroenke in January, you're going to win this or you're going to achieve. Yeah, there's no guarantees in football, and owners like Kroenke need guarantees because when the money is at the root of everything for him, and without a guarantee, we're going to be continually not taking the risk needed, and we're going to be continually juggling this whole mess that is Arsenal.
Yeah, he needs to sell up, man. This is burning. All right, let's look at one other side before we come. Probably take loads of comments before you kind of come to the end as well. Is there? This is going to be the harder one. This is going to be the hardest one. Is there a light Turkish here at the end of the tunnel? Like, can Mikel Arteta next season or anything show a side where we're going to be happy with what we're seeing, in the sense that some people maybe already, but just going forward that he can get into.
Did I say KFC instead of KFC? No, I might have, I could do with some chicken now as well. I can't even lie to you guys. I might have.
The man's head's hot. My
head's definitely hot.
My head is hot at the moment. I can't lie.
Why am I always seeing these kind of things? It's mad.
It's mad. I'm trying to think of anything that, like I said, Arteta on the flip side that he could do. Like, there is some things that I've liked from Arteta, and I feel like going forward it is still part of the process. I know Grizz likes to back your guy. Grizz likes to back Arteta a lot, and it's still progression. I know you don't want to hear that. No one wants to hear that, but I think also Big Steve as well. He also did a rant about it and just being as a neutral, like seeing the progress that Arsenal have made. Is there a side of that you're like, okay, no, I do kind of agree with that. Next season, he might get the players he wants and we can kick on. We can get into the Champions League spot. Or do you think this really, I keep going back to it, was this really the only shot we kind of had this season because of what happened around?
Again, there's no guarantees in football. I didn't even think we had a shot this season, but we did. With 2 games to go, we did.
Right.
Yeah.
Could it happen again next season? I know you said there's no guarantee. I'm trying to get something. I don't know.
Listen, next season, I can't lie to you. If we have the summer window, I think we're going to have, and that's an underwhelming one. I'm predicting a 6.
You think an underwhelming window, yeah?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. This club spent 150 mil and went back into Europa League. They're not gonna go. Like I said, Kroenke needs guarantees, and in my opinion, there's no guarantees.
Off this season, no guarantee that Arteta might go in there and say we need to build. We got so close by the end of this season. If just give me another, 200 million this summer, and I'll get us there. No guarantee. There's not a guarantee.
There's no guarantees because the pool of players that we're gonna go for, it come like I said with Liverpool. Yeah, they spend decent money, money that Arsenal can spend.
Calculated decent money.
But look at their signings. That's the sort of signings we need now. Quality. Quality coming in, because yes, we got good young players. We need experience, but we also need quality. We need players that are going to stand up when it needs to be counted. We need that, and I don't think they're going to do it.
Is that enough though to get us? Is that enough in that window? If he does that, is that enough, or do they need a manager, an experienced manager as well? Or do you think Arteta can? If he gets that in the summer, let's just say he does. I know you're not on that boat, but if he does get experienced players in a good amount, is there enough in that to get us I don't know, back change. I know it's hard to say.
Look, Man United, you don't know what they're going to be about next season with Ten Hag, but best believe Ten Hag is a good manager, and best believe Ten Hag will have players coming to play for him, and he's got a draw, and Man United have got the money, and you know, I think they've come to a realization now that they need to change their approach. So it'll be interesting to see Man United. Tottenham, you know, Antonio Conte, Champions League football, and off the back of, you know, the new stadium, they've broken their transfer record. They held on to Kane amidst a 100 million bid. They're showing signs of being a big club.
He's going to stay as well because nowhere to go.
So I'm worried. But at the end of the day, it might all be a facade. I don't care about Tottenham. So their owners might all be, you know, playing the field as well, like Kroenke is doing with us. So it's hard to say definite, but my feeling now is that if Tottenham and United do what I expect them to do off Champions League football for Tottenham and off this transition for Man United, then it's going to be very difficult for us. Yeah. Very difficult. I wanted Champions League football for no excuses this summer. I wanted Champions League football so I can turn around and say, let's go and get Gnabry, you know? But can I turn around and say, let's go get Gnabry now with Europa League?
They wouldn't have got Gnabry. I don't think they would have got him anyway.
But the thing is, yeah, if we're in Champions League, Gnabry's already said he would come back to Arsenal, yeah? That's where I say, go and try at least. Let him turn us down, cool. But all signs are pointing that he'll be a decent price because he's got a year left. We've got Champions League football, and he said he'll come back. But now they've washed away with that excuse, because there is no Champions League. So now Europa League, I'm going to have Arsenal turn around and say, well, he's not going to sign for Europa League, and they'd be right. Well, I think they'd be right. But, you know, that's what frustrates me the most. Tottenham and United are going to have big summers, in my opinion, and us, it's going to take something special for us to have a big summer. Okay. Because the money's not here.
Okay, let's go to the comments then and see. I know some super chats following. Thank you everyone watching and for sending in your comments and your thoughts as well. I saw someone say, actually, go on, you do super chats and we'll respond to them.
Next season FC, that's all this club will ever be. And I'm tired of hearing next season. As I said on the Big Six show, it's not like seasons go past and I'm still the same age. I'm getting older too. We're all getting older.
Word.
You know, soon next season's going to be when I'm 55 years of age and I'm just going to be flipping out. 20, 30, 40 years of this. Come on, Cecil, it's the same thing every year.
And on that as well, Ross, like, I know it's the same thing every year. I'm just trying to give every angle and trying to figure out, you know, every other aspect to this. But listen, I'm used to it. I'm very much used to it. It's frustrating. I can't lie, I had a little bit of hope this season. Like, we were 6 points in front of Tottenham with a game in hand. Like, for them to throw it away from that, for Arsenal, that is it didn't even surprise me as much as I'm used to this. But I always did say that, you know, January will be the unravelling of Arsenal for not making any signings in the January window. I really feel that's where we slipped up. I think we discussed it many times in the show, and I think everyone is in that same sort of mindset here. And it is proving that. It's proven to be that. It really is. Because all the excuses that we've most of them, what you said earlier, most of them comes under not strengthening in January. The inexperience, the lack of fitness for these players, being burnt out, injuries, all this could have been avoided in January, but hey, here we are.
Here we are. Rashad said Dybala to Spurs, done. Conte, I don't think it's done.
Oh, you went to check that, didn't you?
Yeah, that's the sort. You know, that's the names that are going to be linked. You know, it's not just Tottenham no more. It's Conte. It's Conte. Before we could dismiss it by saying it's Tottenham. Yeah. Yep. But now it's Conte. It's Champions League football, brand new stadium, and Tottenham. So slowly but surely, they're building reasons why to come. Yeah. You know, for other.
Have we? What are reasons? What are reasons?
We were in London.
So before we went live, I came to the office today and I said, right. So players have agents. I'm sure you're all aware. They're going to be, for their best interest is the players' careers, not the team they support, not the club they love. It's be their careers. So my question was to the people in the office and who are here: why are young players staying at Arsenal? Like, you ask yourself that, and go through some of the answers. In London, that is going to be one. Some of the young boys are HLM boys, so that might be a big one. But if you're not that, you're staying for maybe a good salary, being in London, and I think actually Mikel Arteta, we did debate this one, but you might be staying for Mikel Arteta as well because he seems like he's got them on board. But the agent will be saying there may be other managers that you'll progress more under. An experienced manager will give you more. There might be managers you really want to play under. You want to be challenging for Champions Leagues and other trophies. You want success, you want to sustain your career. So this is what the agent will be having these conversations with these players. This is where my worry is. I know no one wants to talk about some of our young players being taken away, but if a big club comes in for them with a big fee, put yourself in their shoes as well. Like, it's an uncomfortable one. I think there's not loads keeping you at Arsenal right now, but the ones we mentioned are quite big. I mean, being in London salary, if you're Hale boy, that's a big factor. And I think Mikel Arteta, if you're a young player that sees the process, and you believe in it, you may stay, but that won't hold you for a long time.
You know, a couple of the reasons that you said, them reasons don't stick for players from abroad. You know, Haaland don't stick for a player from abroad. So when we talk about what Arsenal need, we don't need more Haaland boys. We need experience, quality. Maybe one from England, but in reality, we've got to look around the globe. So some of the reasons you gave to come into Arsenal don't exist for them.
Right.
The reasons would be London and money, you know, because success isn't here. You know, so at the end of the day, that's the saddest thing about it all.
Yeah.
That Tottenham are showing more ambition, and at this moment in time, they seem to have more pull.
Which is
mad to me. And I still have people arguing with me about why I'm angry.
That's mad.
I understand if you want to say fifth is progress. I understand that, but come on.
Man never even used to look at Tottenham. That's the maddest thing. Back in the day, like, I remember someone said to me, was like, remember, Thierry Henry never lost to Tottenham. We didn't even yes, there were our rivals, but we didn't really take them serious. They were so bad. It was always Spursy moments. Like, we didn't have to worry about them. But now, a club like that, and now, like you said, show more ambition, and mad to think they have more pull over players.
No one protected young players more than Wenger.
Correct.
And those young players let Wenger down. We went to a British core because the young players like Nasri and Fabregas and all that let Wenger down. And then the young British core let Wenger down. When it was time to, you know, move on to success, they moved on. I remember Oxlade, I think, hurt Wenger when he left for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ramsey saw out his contract and whatever else after Wenger left. What cool.
Oxlade is a mad one, you know.
So who's Mikel Arteta to these, man? Like, there's going to come a time, because these men go home. Saka, Emil Smith Rowe, Martinelli, they go home.
Yeah.
So it's all good and well speaking at the club, but when you go home and you have an older brother or dad, mum, friends, and they're saying, yo, like, you could be there.
I've been
you know,
there.
It starts causing problems. At the end of the day, it's a setback. It's a setback for us fans, and it's a setback for them young players. You could see after that Newcastle game, those players were hurt. They were hurt. But I can't blame a lot of the young players, because we shouldn't be putting it all on the young players. Like Arsenal going into a season promoting that it's the youngest squad with the youngest manager. It's all PR.
Yeah, so they're excuses that we'll hear. Right, let's just round up and finish off on just some of the last comments. I've got one here. GM Stars says, I can't get over that Cecil said getting rid of Aubameyang worked for both parties. Low, it only benefited Barca, no debate. There was definitely a debate there. I said that actually a while ago when we were both doing well, him doing well at Barca and us doing well here. But even still, it was right to get rid of him. It just was wrong to not replace him. That is what I've always said, and I stand by that 100%. Golden Cannon says Unai Emery was a far better than Arteta. Arteta is fraudiola. A lot of people are on Arteta. Sack Arteta, says Usman. Actually, I saw some people in the comments talking about Vieira as well, but I know we're going to wrap up. But Vieira quickly, Turkey.
You want me to bring another legend into the club to get ruined by these owners? No, thank you. No, thank you.
I was going to say.
Vieira is a legend like Wenger was a legend. And look what happened to Wenger under these owners. What, we're going to throw another legend under the bus?
Do you think Vieira would part with...
Look what happened to Ole at United.
Yeah, they've ruined.
That was a Man United. That is a Man United legend, right? Look at what happened to him. You think I want that for Vieira or Henry or Burke? No, I don't want that for these men.
Do you think Vieira would be that sort of manager though to back down from the board, or do you think he?
We don't know yet.
Yeah, I don't know. And
we don't know yet.
And on top of that, could he come in and do a Lampard? I know he can't. Like, people don't deem Lampard as they didn't ruin his reputation from him being a manager at Chelsea. Yes, he did get sacked in the end, but I think he still holds a lot of love for the Chelsea fans. Do you know what I mean? So do you think that could happen potentially with Vieira? I don't want to see Vieira be a manager, by the way.
I like Vieira. I like his management, and maybe in the future, if we have owners that have changed their ways or different owners, then maybe. But at this moment in time, any manager that comes in under this ownership, first and foremost, is 99.9% going to be a yes man, and secondly, will fall under the same sword that the rest have.
Centre back with Super Chat says people really believe Arsenal have better playing 11, not delusional, but AV, CP, Leicester, he's talking about players, teams, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Leicester have better midfield and forwards in present market. They have more value. than the players at Arsenal. All right, we're going to close it off, but before we go, anything...
Just don't smile at me and laugh, because you know that my feeling right now...
It's been very heavy, Cronkes, and I know that is your thing, and it's the right thing, because we don't seem like we're going to be progressing underneath them, but is there anything that you're holding on to that you think, something could change, or you at wit's end now, after, you know, the Newcastle game and top 4?
It's just another season down the drain, isn't it?
Right.
What can you do? What can you do? I've tried to protest. I've tried to say what I think it is. I've tried to rally fans. I've tried to research and delve into I've tried,
Yeah.
you know, and I'll still try. I will bang on about the owners as much as I feel like I need to bang on about the owners, because I think they're the root of all evil at this club.
Yeah. Okay.
So that won't stop. But how many chances are they going to get? How many chances?
Very true. All right. Just take those 2 super chats, because people...
Yeah, Lubert says, my only thing is that if the owner changes, then the whole club's mentality will change and be better, in my opinion. Mr. Big Six yesterday, busy work. Don't worry about it, my guy. Love for the love. And I agree with you. You know, we need a better mentality top down.
And the Zim Gunner, hi Turkish, why do you think he doesn't play Pepe?
Doesn't like him.
Yeah, he just doesn't trust him. And that's the be all and end all of that. Guys, thank you for joining us, AFTV Reacts. Make sure you hit a like on this video, and thank you for getting involved in the comments and whatnot. I'm still not over the Newcastle defeat. I really am not. But, you know, we'll leave that for another live. Thank you for joining us again, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Love.